Both Bond Sam and Bond Dave have 9% coupons and make semi-annual payments and are priced at par. Since the bonds are priced at par, we know that the yield to maturity has to equal the 9% coupon. Bond Sam has 3 years to maturity, while Bond Dave has 20 years to maturity. If interest rates suddenly rise by 2%, that is, they increase to 11%, what will be the percentage change in the price of both bonds? If interest rates were suddenly to fall by 2% instead, that is, drop to 7%, what would be the percentage change in the price of both bonds? What does this problem tell you about the interest rate risk of longer-term bonds? Let's go ahead and start by confirming that both bonds indeed will sell at par value. Let's take a look at the SAM bond. We were told that the SAM bond has 3 years to maturity and makes a semi-annual coupon payment, so we'll enter 3 times 2 or 6 for the number of periods. Our interest rate in our financial calculator will be the 9% yield divided by 2, since the bond makes a semi-annual coupon payment. The payment on our bond will be $45. This is the 9% coupon times the $1,000 face value divided by 2, because it's a semi-annual coupon payment. And we'll enter 1,000 as the future value for our bond. Solving for the bond's price, we find indeed that it does sell at par of $1,000. The Dave bond, we were told, has 20 years to maturity, so we'll enter 20 times 2 or 40 for the number of periods in our financial calculator. Again, the interest rate will be the 9% yield divided by 2, or 4.5%. The payment on our bond will be the $90 annual coupon divided by 2, and we'll enter $1,000 as the face value. We solve for the price, and we find that indeed a 9% coupon bond, if priced at par, will have a 9% yield to maturity. Let's go ahead and find out what happens to the price of both bonds when interest rates increase to 11%. Let's consider the SAM bond first. Again, the number of periods on our bond will be 6. The interest rate on our bond now will be our 11% yield divided by 2, or 5.5%. Regardless of what happens to interest rates, the coupon on a bond will remain constant, so enter 45 for the payment and 1,000 for the future value. Solving for the bond's price, we find that the SAM bond will decrease in price to $950. This is a change of price of $49.96, or roughly a decrease of 5%. Let's consider what happens to the Dave bond. Again, our Dave bond had 20 years to maturity. It's a semi-annual coupon payment, so again we'll enter 40 for the number of periods. Our interest rate will be the 11% yield divided by 2, or 5.5%. Again, regardless of what happens to interest rates, the coupon on our bond always remain constant, so enter 45 for the payment and 1,000 for the future value. In solving for the price of the Dave bond, we find the price has decreased to $839.54. This is a decrease of $160.46, or roughly 16%. Notice the longer-term bond, the 20-year bond, decreased in value much more than the 3-year bond. Let's consider what happens when interest rates decrease to 7%. Recall, when interest rates decrease, our bond price should go up in value. Again, enter 6 for the number of periods. Our interest rate will now be 3.5%, which is the 7 divided by 2. The coupon again remains constant, as does the face value. Solving for the price, we find the price of the SAM bond will increase to $1,053.29. This is an increase of $53.29, or 5.3%. For the Dave bond, when interest rates go down to 7%, we will also find an increase in value, and significantly more. Enter again 40 for the number of periods. Our interest rate is the 7% divided by 2, or 3.5. The coupon remains constant, as does the future value. The price of the Dave bond will increase to $1,213.55, an increase of $213.55, or roughly 21.4%. Let's look at a graph that illustrates the relationship between coupons and interest rate risk. This graph shows the relationship between interest rates, or yield to maturity, and a bond's price for a $90 coupon bond. Notice at very low interest rates, the 20-year bond has a very high price, and its value decreases significantly when interest rates drop, much less so than a 3-year bond.